Hey, everybody. My name's Dr. Scott Giacomucci, and I'm the author of Trauma Informed Principles in Group Therapy, Psychodrama, and Organizations Action Methods for Leadership. And in this video, I want to take some time to talk with you about the content in the final chapter of this book, Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is titled Towards a Trauma Informed Ethics of Leadership in Group Therapy, Psychodrama, and Organizations. So, in this chapter, the content that's covered includes an emphasis on the importance of ethics within leadership and its connection to trauma informed principles, and an overview of the importance of ethics in group therapy, in psychodrama specifically, and in organizational settings. So it goes without saying that as leaders, we are in a position of power, and that through our power, we have the potential to promote well being, a sense of purpose, really provide important services to those in need. But we also have the potential of causing significant harm by the misuse of our power, the abuse of our power, or neglect in our positions of power. And whenever we ask someone about examples of good leadership, you'll naturally find that people have many examples of poor leadership and bad leadership, but that it's much more difficult to find examples of good and healthy leadership. But we really do need to find these examples of these good role models for leadership and good values and principles that can guide us as leaders. In my own experience, there are countless poor examples of leadership that I could look to and that maybe I could learn from in learning what not to do or how not to do certain things. But there's also a handful of good examples of leadership, good role models for leadership that I've had in my life in organizations, in communities, throughout history, and even religious or spiritual or archetypal models for leadership, which certainly can be helpful. So I want to challenge you for a moment to consider who can you look to and who can you learn from as a role model of trauma informed leadership in your own life, in your own profession, in your own organization, and in the context that you're working in. My own vision and my own understanding of what it means to be a trauma informed leader is constantly evolving. But when I really reflected on it, I noticed that there were 6 core areas that come to mind for me in terms of what it means to be a trauma informed leader. The first is that leadership is about serving a greater good. That as leaders, we're guided by our own personal ethics, professional ethics, organizational values, and trauma informed principles, and that we're really a vessel as leaders to serving a greater good, the mission of the organization or the community. That leadership is not about the creating a platform for the ego or the personality of the leader, but really about serving a greater good. Second area that I found important for me is that leadership has to include providing a sense of protection, sense of safety, containment for those within the group, within the organization, within the community, especially in the face of outside threats, chaos, or harm. And I would add not just outside threats, but also internal threats, chaos, and harm. The third important area I've found for leadership is that it's about emphasizing the importance of relationships by embodying gratitude, expressing appreciation, engaging in empowerment, and trying to help others to be the best that they can be in their roles. The fourth area I think is important is that we have to demonstrate wisdom and competence and discernment as leaders, and that we're collaboratively helping everybody move towards a shared vision, a shared goal, a shared mission. Fifth area I found important for trauma informed leadership is that we have to remember that we're human and that we're working with humans as well. So this means that we have to practice vulnerability and authenticity, humility, and engage in our own personal growth as leaders. And the sixth area that I personally find important for trauma informed leadership is that we're taking action to address issues related to social injustice and inequalities within our own organizations, within our community, and within society. So these are six different areas that I found important in terms of my own experience of trauma informed leadership. I also want to say, though, that my idea of trauma informed leadership and leadership in general is constantly evolving and changing and growing. Even while writing this book, my sense of what it meant to be a leader and a trauma informed leader was changing as I was reading and writing and learning and editing the book. And I think it's only natural that as we grow, as we change, as we mature as leaders, our ideas and understandings and practices as leaders have to grow and change and evolve as well. One of my favorite definitions of leadership comes from Brene Brown. She says that a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential within people and processes and who has the courage to develop that potential. I really like this definition in that it highlights finding the potential within people and within processes, within systems, within organizations, and having the courage to try to develop that potential. So, really, it's about helping people and organizations and processes to be the best that they can be, to empower people to be leaders themselves in many ways.